A beautiful day for baseball.
Yeah. We wouldn't play today.
You guys go with Dome State.
You guys kind of have your own fraternity, don't you? You guys just hang out together all the time.
Nobody else will hang out with us.
Yeah, I'm good.
Let's build a Dome Stadium.
Whatever you're right. Question for Coach. Through rotation still the same as what you mentioned the other day?
Yeah. Nolan, Wicklander, and Adams in that order.
What have you seen from Blake Adams that makes you comfortable?
First off, are you feeling better?
A little bit.
Okay, stay away from the team. I don't want anybody getting the flu, all right? But, no, we've seen him throw, like I've said a couple of times, a lot of strikes. Yeah, I don't know if he walked anyone all fall. I think he's walked one or two in his 3 outings, this early spring. So first 2 outings of spring he did real well. The last outing, I stacked it, pretty much put the starting team against guys that were going to start, and he had a rough first inning or 2, and then after that he really settled in and did a nice job. So, we just want to make sure that we've got older guys in the bullpen this first weekend for sure.
Who starts out as your closer?
That's a real good question. We're going to still do that. We'll play that role, the closer role by committee right now. Vermillion is still coming back from that little hamstring issue. He's a guy that might be able to get it, but he's not 100% yet. So, like I said, it could be Cops, Tress. Depends on the score. We could use him 7th, 8th, and 9th and just try to finish it up. We'll see how it goes.
How many kind of pitch count are the starters on this weekend?
75, probably right around there, maybe 80. They threw like 70, 75 this past weekend, so they could go up 5, 10 pitches maybe. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how easy it is. If it's easy or hard. Is it an easy 75, or are they just struggling the whole time working out of the stretch, and that's a little stressful. If it's that way for 50, 60 pitches, we'll probably get them. If they're cruising along, throwing a lot of strikes, we're getting outs, we'll let them go up to that top number.
What do you know about Eastern Illinois?
Very experienced team. A lot of players back. Will Klein, the right-hander that we'll see Friday, is a very hard thrower. He'll be in the 95 plus most of the time, and they used him as a closer last year. Had a good summer, a lot of velocity, but we're used to velocity a little bit. Lost some power, lost a lot of their home runs, but got back a good amount of their hitters. Second day starter is going to be a junior college transfer lefty, and then Sunday will be another left-hander that was in the program last year. We faced him, not more of a softer thrower, mid-80s type guy, and got a lot of innings for him. So, just what we know from playing them last year, and then doing the best we can to find out everything else with the new guys.
What was Blake's response when you told him that he was going to be in the starting rotation?
Well, you probably have to talk to Coach Hobbs about that because he told him. But I'm sure he was extremely excited about it, probably a little nervous about it at the same time. And, we told him before he threw this past weekend, so we wanted to put a little bit of pressure on him, see how he handled it. And I thought he did a pretty good job.
Hey, Dave, obviously Casey Martin, Heston Kirstead, they've been playing from the get-go, but now they're going into their draft-eligible year. We get an email every 5 minutes from Michael that they've made this All-American team or whatever. How do you think those guys are handling that or going to handle it, and what have you said to them about it?
Well, I think they've handled it pretty well so far. I think they knew this day was coming, or this year was coming, so obviously, and that they were going to be featured in a lot of stories, and there was going to be a lot of talk about them, and that they'd played just about every game since they walked on campus, and that they're pro-type guys. So, we'll see how it evolves. I think if they struggle a little bit here and there, I don't think you can just solely say that they're worried about the draft. It's just baseball sometimes. Heston's pretty level-headed, and I don't feel like it's going to faze him too much, and if he slumps a little bit, I just feel like that's part of the game a little bit. And with Casey, I've seen him grow up a lot in the last 12 months. And, he's worked hard, and he knows what's ahead of him. And, he knows it's a team game. He doesn't have to carry us. So I think that's a a good thing.
And as good as they've been, what are your expectations for them? I mean, are they going to be even better? I would assume.
They'll be even better. Yeah, that's my expectation. They're older, more experienced. Why wouldn't they be better?
Your lineup still the same from what you outlined earlier in.
Pretty close. You know, Jacob Nesbitt's been swinging the bat really well. I mean, we'll still hit him down in the order, and you know, Franklin will probably hit 2 holes. Same lineup that I threw out there 3 times this past weekend.
You mentioned Zebulon's still coming back. You healthy otherwise?
Yes. Yeah, everybody's pretty much ready to go, and you know, trying to make sure that, you know, example, if they're supposed to throw a bullpen the next day or two, then the plan has to be, hey, they're not throwing Friday, they're going Saturday. Or if they threw yesterday, we just, you know, we're on a pretty good plan, and guys have to be up front with us on how they feel. But you know, example, last weekend, Zach Morris didn't throw, and he threw extremely well the weekend before, but he's fine now, and he's good to go.
Dave, you know, the bar's been pretty high here your whole time, but is it raised to a little higher level when you first back-to-back, you know, Omaha appearances, and then a lot of high expectations again with how good you guys look on paper anyway?
Yeah, I think the expectations are probably at an all-time high around here just because of, you know, what's gone on the last couple of years, and we've got some returners back. You know, people see it that, you know, you're supposed to get better and do what you did last year and maybe take a step forward. But that's fine. I think the players are good with that. And, you know, the success has been good. It's helped our recruiting. It's helped, obviously, grow our fan base and contributed to, you know, a new facility going up for our players in the future. So yeah, it's all a plus, and you know, I think the players, I think they kind of embrace it a little bit. They like it.
Speaking about the improvement in the stadium, what have you been told, or is there a certain finite date, or maybe?
Well, I think next year is a stretch a little bit. I think, you know, I've been told that after the season, and I'm probably talking later in the summer, that they'll be able to pinpoint a time a lot more, you know, and give us some options. Because would we want to move in mid-season in 21? Would we want to wait till the end of the year? You know, because you're going to have, you know, you're going to have seats out there that, you know, are they going to be able to use those in 21? And so there's probably still a lot out there. I don't think that they're going to know exactly on that date. I mean, kind of like today, they're not working out their day too much with this weather, but there's going to be some times where they're going to be able to go as much as they want. So, but I've seen a lot of progress out there. There's a lot of, obviously, groundwork that's got to be done, and before you see anything going up, I don't think you'll see anything going up maybe till summer.
Hey, with Heston and Casey, is there one or two particular areas you think they'll be better in, something you can kind of zero in on?
Well, I mean, you talk about Casey. He's a lot better defender than he was last year. I mean, the range is incredible, but now the accuracy of his arm and just the defensive skills, he's slowed himself down a little bit. You know, a lot of his errors last year were throwing or maybe plays that he had the play finished. All he had to do is complete the play, and he just, you know, didn't maybe concentrate enough and didn't throw the ball hard enough or whatever, and pulled the first baseman off. Just errors that shouldn't have happened. We haven't seen that. You know, he's going to make errors. Toughest position on the field, and he's really improved there. And you know, with Heston, I see him a lot stronger. I mean, the ball's coming off his bat better than it ever has, and he's in the best shape of his life. He's running really well.
You mentioned the outings Zach Morris had a couple of weekends ago. What have you liked from him this preseason?
Well, he's come in and with, you know, in some situations, I think 2 weeks ago he came in and I think he had to go through the top of our order, what I kind of kiddingly call him the varsity, and he did a pretty good job against some of those guys. And, you know, he's a hard-throwing lefty. He was throwing 92, 93, and he's got a good breaking ball. And now that he's starting to command the ball a little bit better, it's a guy that, you know, why shouldn't he pitch? Doesn't matter how old you are. If you think you can do it, he's quick to the plate. Gives our catcher a chance to throw runners out, and you know, you can spin that breaking ball against right and left-handed hitters. It could be something special. You know, I mean, he may work himself into a closer role if he shows he can do it. We've had a pretty good left-handed closer here for 2 years in a row.
Dave's a little off the mark, maybe, but you realize it. Well, Mike Bolsinger, maybe the first of many guys who's suing the Astros.
Yeah.
Did you see that? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I saw it. I don't know. I mean, it's individual choice. You got to do what you got to do, and I'm sure it's frustrating for a lot of pitchers at that level. I mean, it's such a fine line for some guys. You know, you think about getting demoted after having a bad outing when, you know, possibly they knew everything you were throwing, and you're trying to make a living, and, you know, he's got a family. I get it. You know, it's frustration there, and who knows what it's all, you know, affected in the trickle-down effect. It's, you know, so we'll just follow that one. I mean, I don't know a whole lot more than anybody else does on that situation, just what I've read.
What improvements have you seen from Connor Nolan and Patrick Wicklander heading into the season?
Well, Connor, you know, being with us full time, he stayed here all summer and worked out and continued to, you know, strengthen that arm with long toss and just becoming a full-time baseball player. It's different than throwing that football. Obviously, that baseball, the arm action's a lot different, and velocity jump. He always could command the ball pretty well, and I see him throwing 3 miles an hour harder most all the time. And you add that with the good off-speed stuff. You know, if he's on, he's spotting that fastball up, and he's keeping that breaking ball low, and got a pretty good changeup now. You know, those hitters have to get out there a little bit quicker. The difference between 89, 90, and 91, 93 it's a big difference when you're standing in the batter's box. So I think it's a guy that can eat up a lot of innings, but the velocity probably there. And Wicklander's just a lot bigger and stronger. Command is better. He hasn't had a really good preseason, so to speak. I mean, he's, you know, it's been some really good innings, and then some innings where, you know, he's had to throw a lot of pitches, and that's been the issue, is that he gets his pitch count up too much. We need him to pound the strike zone, because when he does, he usually doesn't get hit real bad. And, you know, last year, I've said it a few times, I think he pitched 60-some innings and had 90-plus strikeouts. That's pretty good, especially for a freshman. But, you know, I think he had 37 walks somewhere in there, and he's got to cut that in half. If he does that, he's going to win a lot of games.
What role do you see Ramage playing on the staff?
I think he's going to do a little bit of everything for us. I mean, if you look at the numbers and the way he pitched the last 3 weeks, he should be right there to start. He's pitched better than a couple of guys that are starting this weekend. But what he gives us, at least right now, if he continues to throw like he has, because his velocity's up, throwing more strikes, he's got a really good changeup and a good slider. You know, if one of our starters gets in trouble early, we can put him in. He can settle it down. We can catch up or take a lead or whatever we need to do. He just brings some experience out of the bullpen. He could grab one of those weekend spots. Could see him start against Gonzaga. You know, we'll see how it goes. And but he's kind of a wild card for us right now.
There's a story about the smart mound the other day. Has that made a difference to you guys and some of these guys adding pitches and so forth?
Well, the mound just it kind of grades you. It tells you everything you're doing, how hard you're landing. I mean, it's pretty interesting, just the whole process there. Just a lot of feedback that, you know, and data that you can give to the pitcher, and they kind of, maybe they will listen more and be more willing to make some adjustments. But, you know, all the technology does that. You know, the spin rate, you know, arm slot, possible injuries. I mean, that's what this stuff's all about. And, you know, we've got a really good setup now, but when we get over to the new building, we kind of get to build it in. It's going to be second to none.
Anything else?
Yeah.